everyone, welcome back to my channel. For those who are new here, thank you for tuning in. I hope by the end of this video or while watching you'll actually subscribe. To those who've subscribed, thank you so much for coming back. I hope you'll find this video helpful, and I hope that you'll come back for more. Right, so today I'm going into a book review, From Debt to Riches by Phumelelo Ndumo. Right, so Phumelelo Ndumo is a financial advisor. She's actually a founder of Tutuka SA. They help with obviously financial questions, also with being able to get loans, and they actually assist with knowing what investments to get into. So if you can just Google Tutuka SA and you'll know more about her and also about her business. This book has been so great. I actually enjoyed it a lot. It makes finances and actually getting yourself to financial success an easy thing in terms of the terms that she uses. It's in a South African context, and also the things that she mentions in here are things that we should know, but generally we do not know them because they are hidden from us by either the financial institutions, or in general we just don't get the information freely available. All right, so I'm just going to share a bit of a summary from each of the different chapters of the book. Sorry, so I'm just going to share from all the chapters a bit of a summary, just small things, what it's about, and I hope you'll go out and buy the book if you don't have it yet. If you do, yes, good for you, and I hope it was helpful to you too. It's a really old book, so I don't think it will be like a spoiler thing. It was published, I think, around 2011. It's a bit old. I've been meaning to get it, but finally I got it. So I hope sharing it with you will help you also want to go and get it. Yeah, so let's dive in. So I'm just going to look down now and then, because obviously I'm going through the different titles of the chapters, and some I will try and read some quotations from it. Right, so the first one, she goes into why I want you to get out of excessive bad debt. So she starts off with the main thing, which is most of us are in debt. Even this channel in itself, the breadth of this channel was because I also was on a debt freedom journey. So it really stood out for me that she goes into real details about how she really wants us to get out of debt, and most importantly because we need to get ourselves a home. So getting out of these bad debts will actually open up doors for us to get good debt, instead of staying with all this bad debt that we generally get ourselves into. All right, and then she goes into manage your debts or they will manage you. So yeah, if you don't, she basically goes into detail of how if we don't manage our debt, it's actually going to manage us, in terms of, again, going back to the first chapter that she went into, it blocks us from getting things that we really need, getting good debts. You know, it really blocks us from all those things. So if we don't manage it, it will be what manages us in terms of what we get, the good debts that we don't get anymore, because this debt is what is managing us. It's literally holding us by the neck, if you know what I mean. So then she also goes into the cost of debt. This chapter was one of my favorite for me, because she goes into things that the banks don't tell us. So if you go in for a loan, at times you've signed the papers, but they haven't really told you the cost of debt, because she goes into the maximum interest they're supposed to charge, what's regulated by the NCA, and actually diving into how much it will actually cost for you to have a specific debt, in terms of looking at your amount that you owe, the interest, and in the long term what it will be. So the real cost, not just what we sign and say, oh okay, I've borrowed 10,000, or I'm buying this couch or whatever for 6,000 rand. It's way more than just that 6,000 rand, and maybe that 20% interest rate that they charge. So yeah, And then she goes into what you should know if you really already in debt trouble. So in this channel, I think most of us are obviously on a debt freedom journey. I am too. So even with this, she goes into how you can actually get out of it. But more importantly, in this chapter, she speaks of how some companies can actually force a garnish order on your salary. So before you even get your salary, they take what they need. What you need to know is the NCR regulates these monies that they can charge against your salary. So hopefully the HR representative in your company knows that, and they actually are in tune with what is actually supposed to be charged, because apparently they could charge you way more than what you actually owe, because probably the HR person in your company did not really know what is regulated by the NCR for these garnish orders. So that's what you need to know, especially in that regard. Then she goes in to say, is your car driving your destiny? So this one also links back to the first one, where, or actually the one where debt is actually managing you. So many of us, myself included, have actually went and bought cars not too long after we started working. It was the first thing we bought, and we didn't focus on the long term of us getting those cars. So basically your car is driving your destiny, because you cannot access good debt because your car is way more, and obviously affects your affordability. So those are the things she goes into, and she really delves into it. And I really hope that for you as well, it will be as informative as it was for me. And then your budget is your budget and what it says about you. Sorry, that's another one. In that one, I want to just read something from the book. If you start working at age 23 and you don't get retrenched or take a break from employment, you will have 480 paychecks before you go on pension. If you retire at age 63, what you do with each one of your paychecks will determine whether you look back in old age on a life well lived, or whether you struggle your entire life. So that's just something she shares. In this chapter about the budget, she actually shares, so if you don't already have a spending plan in place, she shares a template that you can actually use and start budgeting. So I really hope that someone out there, if you get the book, you at least, if you don't have a spending plan yet or a budget in place, there's a template here that you can use, where you separate your wants, you separate your needs, and actually work out how you spend your money. So I really hope that will be helpful. And then, is your car driving your destiny? Oh, sorry, we went with that one. The best kept secret about saving. This one as well, I loved so much, because she explains how she went on sort of like an exercise where she compared the different banks and the different percentages that they offer on saving. And you realize that it's such a small percentage compared to when you actually owe the bank. It's actually a big percentage, which we all know. So she speaks about how you can actually save and get more interest if you have a home. So she's driving that home. If you get what I'm saying, she's driving home the fact that we need to have a home, because having a home opens up opportunities, but we'll get there. Now, if you can't afford to lose it, insure it. I've spoken about this in one of my videos where I say prepare yourself for the unforeseen. We've seen how death knocks at so many doors, and if we are not prepared, it will really hit hard for those we leave behind, whether it be kids, whether it be parents, or whoever else is dependent on us. So if you can't lose it, insure it. Your life, get life insurance, get a will, have mechanisms in place that will take care of whatever assets you leave behind. And also, if for example, I don't think she shares this in the book, but if for example you can't afford not to have a car because you work far and what have you, insure it, because insuring it means at least should anything happen, it is covered. Your life is more important. She drives more the life insurance part. also a house. I think she shares a story of how a family lost a house, a car, because the father passed away. They lost it all. It was not insured, it was not covered to say, should I die, these things will be paid for by whatever insurance policy I have in place. So really, if you cannot afford to lose it insured, it would not be nice for our families. Say we already have a home and all of a sudden our families do not have a home because we have passed on and it's gone, you've lost it. Life needs to now change. They need to now find another place of accommodation. They need, so she really explains the mechanisms that we need to have in place, whether it's credit life insurance for certain items or even a home, or actual life insurance that covers your life. So, and then your last will and testament. This as well ties back to that one, to say, have a will in place, have a last will and testament in place. If it's not an actual will, have something written down. What needs to happen to your assets? Who needs to get what? Because you don't want to leave behind and your family doesn't get anything, or people dependent on you, especially your children, are not taken care of because there is no will in place and people do what they want with what you have left behind and worked so hard for your family or those really close to you around you. All right, so she then spends time on why I want you to own a home ASAP. That one hit home because, hey, right, she goes into the fact that, remember, you retire at a certain age. So if you get your home at age 50, chances are the banks might not feel that you can get a home, because remember, 20 years is the minimum that most bonds are on. It's mostly 20 years, or some are 30 years, but nonetheless, let's stick to 20. So 20 years, you are 50, you're probably gonna retire at age 63 or 65. You don't really have 20 years to actually be paying back the bank. So you sort of minimize your chances of getting a home because you've waited so long to get a home. So this one really hit home for me as well, to remember that I need to keep on this debt freedom journey. I need to keep increasing my net worth so that soon I can own a home, right? So yeah. And then she also speaks of how to use your home to create wealth for yourself. So again, owning a home in this book reminds us and tells us all who do not know that it's actually a very good thing, because she speaks of a family who actually got a home in a more cheaper place, instead of what they really wanted, a more cheaper place close to their children's school, having minimal expensive, a car that's just standard, nothing too fancy or whatever, but they were able to open doors to actually send their children to university because they had a home, and because they had a home for so long. So this one would really really hit home as well, because it opens up opportunities, because she speaks of how when you have a home you can save your money, or you can pay additional amounts and borrow from those additional amounts that you've paid, or you can actually have a bit of a savings pocket in there. She explains it better, I might not do justice to it. So you can have a savings pocket in place, which you know that you're getting proper interest in there, and you've saved for your child's education, or you've been able to save for way more, and you can drive your wealth. You can actually borrow from your savings on your home to start a business, to, you know, I don't know, whatever it is that will drive wealth for your family. Then, wow, she speaks of how the Rural Housing Loan Fund can help you build a home in a rural area. I knew nothing about this until I read this book. This is good for people who are earning, so at the time of writing the book, I think it was people who earn 9,500 and less a month. This is helpful for them because they can still get to own a home even with a very minimal or small salary. Then, will you be able to send your kids to university? a question for me, a question for all of us who have kids, all of us who are on this debt freedom journey. Will we actually afford it? Well, in here she drives back the notion of owning a home to actually be able to send your kids to university, but she also speaks of a fund that the government has put in place that you can actually save for university in, and it actually gives you back 300, I think it's 300 a month or 300 every year back. So you're saving, and all those funds will actually go to a university one day when your child starts university. So please read up on it. I just don't want to be looking down and trying to find it, but basically she speaks of a fund that the government has put in place for people to actually be able to send their children to university. So please read up on this, and if you don't have a fund yet and maybe you want to take it up, just go on and actually do it. It's a good thing because it will actually help have funds for university and not be wondering how you're going to send your kids to university. And then, do you know what relationship you have with money? So this one also goes back to one of my videos that I did, your money archetype, knowing how you behave around money, what's your relationship with money. So knowing those things will help you to actually know, okay, what am I doing with money, and what is my relationship, and how do I either improve it or how do I balance to ensure that I get to that debt freedom journey and I am able to get my net worth up, even with whatever relationship I actually have with money. So she goes into that. And then before you say I do, so this chapter speaks about the different regimes of marriage, like out of community, in community, and in community of property, out of community without accrual, and out of community with accrual. So she speaks of these three, and I hope for those who have not said I do, you can actually see what the different regimes mean and decide from there before you say I do, so that you know these things. I don't think I knew enough before I said I do. I'm just gonna put it out there, but she speaks of the different regimes, and I've learned a lot from that as well. All right, and then the beginner's guide to investing in stock exchange, that's the last one, not least but the last one. So in this one she speaks of how actually investing in shares, whether it's through the JSE, and learning from there will help you. So that's a start for those who do not know where to start when it comes to shares. So JSE is a good platform, and obviously you learn from there, but read this book, and I hope it will do justice. Maybe I have not done justice to what the book is about, but I hope you have a gist, and I hope you can see that this book is really steps to financial success, and it will really help. If you have not seen it yet, there it is, From Debt to Riches, Steps to Financial Success by Phumelele Ndumo. Go out and get the book if you have not. Like I said, it's old. I think about 2011 was when she wrote some of these things, because in the book she goes back to say, in this month or in this year where I'm writing this is the percentage. Some of the percentages might have gone up. She's also got contact details for the Tutuga essay that she owns on, but like, you know what, it's a wealth of gems in this book that we can really use to get ourselves to our financial freedom, more so increase our net worth, so that we can access those good debts that we need, like a home, as she keeps going back, a home, a good asset, rather than the cars that we have, or whatever else, credit card. There are many debts that we are in and we've gotten ourselves in, and we'll get out of it because we're on this debt freedom journey, right? And we'll also increase our net worth as we on this journey together. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this was helpful. I hope you will go out and get the book if you have not already. And I hope this video was good. If it was, please click like. If you can, please share the video with someone else. It might be very helpful. Most importantly, there's a subscribe button under the video. Please don't leave without subscribing. I hope you enjoyed it. Till next time, ciao.